What's the difference between letter and alphabet, between wedding and marriage? And why aren't you pronouncing certain common words correctly? Does the world need more English nuts like me? All this and more coming up. But first, if you haven't already, do follow, like, or subscribe to the English Nut right away. A friend gifted me this t-shirt. It reads, "I am silently correcting your grammar." He knows me well, so he knows that when people talk to me, I mentally proofread and edit their sentences on the fly. It is a burden. I try to shed it, but it proves difficult. I will myself to focus on the substance of what the person is saying, but to no avail. In the wiring of my brain, form and function are inextricably melded. For me, how a thought is expressed is as important as the thought itself. In fact, I believe that how something is articulated to a great extent determines the meaning of it. The expression is the essence of the substance. That's a quotable quote from the English Nut. Do you know what I learned about English from Dr. Shashi Tharoor? That's coming up later. But first, I'm going to tell you a little about myself and what mathematics has got to do with good English. I studied mathematics in college. Yeah, the vindication for my perspective lies perhaps in something I learned there, the notion of the elegant solution. In mathematics, as in engineering and programming, an elegant solution is one that uses appropriate methods or materials to produce the best effect with the simplest approach. There may be a less refined, less precise way to get the job done, like using black tape to keep bits of hanging wire in place, but in an elegant solution there would be no odd loose bits of wire in the first place. One example that comes to mind in the context of language is the overused word very. We often plonk it before an adverb or an adjective to intensify its impact. But there is always a more precise word available that includes the sense of the very. Thus, very good English is not very good English. Replace very good with excellent and voila, you have excellent English. Very confused by what I'm saying? Use baffled instead. You find this video very boring? Call it tedious. The word very allows us to be very lazy, I mean slothful, to avoid the effort of finding the more apt single word. Don't succumb. Every pedant has his pet peeves. Let's start with the alphabet. It is not the same as a letter. If I said my name starts with the alphabet T, I would be wrong because T is not an alphabet. It is a letter of the alphabet. Alphabet refers to the set of letters as a whole. The English alphabet, for example, contains 26 letters. And then there is marriage. You shouldn't say you will attend someone's marriage unless you plan to move in with the couple. Say that you will attend their wedding, the event at which the pair tie the knot. Marriage refers to the till death do us part. Presumably, you don't want to be a part of that. Mispronunciation is yet another vexation, starting with the word pronunciation itself. People mispronounce the word as pronunciation. They forget that the O before the U in pronounce is dropped in the spelling of pronunciation. Other common errors: mispronouncing COUGH as cuff, MONK as monk, and BURY as bury. They should be pronounced respectively as cough, monk, and berry. But you knew that, right? I believe that in language as in art, you must know the rules before breaking them. Otherwise, you're just spattering paint on canvas, the way some artists do. Be like Picasso, the great Spanish painter, instead. He could paint flawless, lifelike portraits of women, but he chose to portray them with their body parts not in the usual places and not necessarily in the usual numbers. Recently, I learned something from fellow English nut Dr. Shashi Tharoor. He said that if the same English mistake is made often enough, it gets accepted as correct. His example was the word momentarily. This word means for a moment in classic British English, but in American English it has come to mean in a moment. Imagine the consternation of an Englishman on an American flight when he hears an announcement that the plane will be airborne momentarily. He imagines the plane going up for a moment only to come hurtling down. Clearly, the word needs more English nuts to point out and hopefully to prevent such hair raising language misunderstandings. And of course, to teach people to communicate elegantly without resorting to black tape. Do you have certain pet peeves when it comes to English mistakes? Do write them below. And before you go, there's a request. If you like this content, please do share it with as many people as possible. And on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell icon too. That way you'll get an alert whenever I release a new video. I'm the English Nut. Bye for now.